Olympic Foundation, Michelle.
Raising awareness, helping with advocacy, and really this is a challenge that is greater than whatever took in the pool. But you know, I think I feel so, I haven't taken a smile off my face, except for a few tears along the way. But it makes me realise, you know, it's connection and people that believe in each other, and from all different walks of life that will overcome this.
Michelle, your role in all this, I guess when you look at something like this, there's probably two ways you can do it. You can withdraw and go through this journey yourself, but you guys have chosen to go big, you know, establishing the foundation and trying to do something about it as well.
Absolutely. Like as Michael mentioned, it was a very isolating sort of experience for us, especially when it was during COVID that this was happening. So we had to go back and forth quite a bit to Australia. And we just sort of felt that Michael, who has an amazing group of friends and family around him that do have those connections to better doctors and facilities, we knew that there's a lot of people out there that don't have that access. So we wanted to be able to provide the foundation, the tools and just the support that we knew we could help with.
So I mean, one thing that really resonates for me with your cause, an autoimmune disease, I'm the father of a type 1 diabetic, and we know what type 1 diabetes was when my daughter was diagnosed at 2, and it hit you in the face, and that's what's happened with you guys, and you didn't know what it was, you didn't know anything about it, or learning. Tell us about that initial learning phase, those first few months.
Well, the first, you know, shit, I knew I was going to be crying. The problem is the first 6 months I lost the ability to walk. So that's the hardest part. Then I was in denial, then I had grief, and I was angry with the world. And these emotions that were just turning me into someone that I'm not, took a while to overcome, because you have to be in the right mindset to take on any challenge. And I certainly wasn't in the right mindset to take on life, really. And it wasn't for my family or sure. Oh God, luckily I can laugh about it. You know, we wouldn't be here, and you know, to hear Stella speak so well, and to reflect on that time that we had, which was dark. You know, I couldn't get up the stairs to my bedroom. I couldn't get a cup of water because I'd fall over in the kitchen and stuff. All the swimmers in the room here would know that I used to pride myself on my body and my suntan, and suddenly that was taken away from me. So when there was a moment, there was a pretty drastic period where I realised, and with the help of my friends, and you'll hear from them very soon, that they can do a lot, but ultimately it comes down to yourself, and I had to make a decision to start helping myself. I was really sabotaging a lot of the things that I was doing from a lifestyle point of view, but I had all the tools. Luckily, I've been an elite sportsman, and the tool bag was there. And eventually, when I decided that okay, I have to change the tide, and slowly, bit by bit, and started with movement, better diet, getting off the grog, bits and pieces, becoming a better person, connecting with my loved ones, my friends. Life changed, and that comment that being a full person, I used to hear people say that their experience of an illness or trauma they consider a blessing, and I thought that was rubbish. But I sit here today and say that my traumas made me a better person.
I love it. message? And Michelle, in amongst all this too, there's obviously clearly experience was his experiencing, but you're a partner and a carer. Talk us through those initial days for yourself as well.
Yeah, Michael actually said it wasn't really until he wanted to actually make that change. It didn't matter what his parents and family and sister and I tried to help and encourage along the way. So we're really grateful that you did make that change. We love you for it. And we know that things obviously take time to rebuild again, but I think you've proven today with this amazing turnout. Well, there's people here to support you, that you're loved, and you did the right thing. And as a partner, we were trying to do everything possible. But as a carer, that's also something that being a carer is also an isolating and invisible role as well. And you just want to do everything possible you can to help your loved ones. But then you also forget to take care of your own mental health and your own boundaries, I think, amongst that. And so I learned a lot in this process too, but I feel like this foundation has really helped us to understand how we can also give back and help too. Yeah, it was a journey for sure. I'm so proud of you.
You're a rock right there, isn't she?
An angel.
Clingy, if you could talk now to yourself in those earlier months, what would your message be as you sit here today?
Look, the obvious messages probably wouldn't even get through. You know, like I think it's, and that's why I think that the Clint Foundation, and we've got an amazing board and advisory board, and we want to create the services now that people don't feel isolated, don't feel alone, that they can speak to a counsellor, that will have advice on physiotherapy, nutrition, in terms of treatment. We've got some of the leading neurologist professors here in the room, so collectively we want to be able to bring all their brains, the data together, rather than there was still kind of a bit of a split really between what different hospitals would be doing and different sort of treatment methods and infusion rates, etc., and even having data on CRDP patients. There's not one central place when we have it, and there is, I met probably 10 or 9 CRDP patients here today, and about half of them have never met a CRDP patient in their life. So I think, we want to bring them together and unite them to feel that they're not alone, that we got their back.
We love to hear it. Michelle, the ultimate goal for the Clint Foundation, is there any one achievement that you want to nail down?
I feel like we've achieved quite a lot in a year already, but I think that what Michael keeps saying is the awareness, is bringing so much more awareness and advocacy, helping the healthcare industry as much as we possibly can, so we can actually shorten the diagnosis period, because I think that's where that's the uncertainty, where a lot of patients actually are misdiagnosed initially, and it's a process to keep going through that list. So.
Anyone here today that you want to give a special shout out to? Because I know it's a big one. You mentioned all the people on the medical side of things, those people that have been having your back throughout the entire journey as well.
You can't do that to me. Serious? No, I'll do a round of thank yous later, but obviously Dave told us to believe in my story, which is all true, by the way, what I said. For someone to have the belief in someone else's vision, and he knew it, that collectively, there was, and obviously through his self-experience, I don't want to single out anybody, but for nurses, I want to let you know that we've got you back. For neurologists, we're going to unite you. We're going to give you all the resources possible. For carers, will give you the services and programs and support that you need. And I think that's what we want to provide, and it's rather than singling out individual people. I think that's why I brought so many champions here today that I don't want to single anyone out. I think you've got people that can help you along the way.
This is why this collaboration has been amazing, because we've always said we need champions, like champion like the CIDP and they're champions for champion. You're going to hear that word so much today. And look, championing life, because everybody is a champion, and often resilience, and that's what we need. And just people sort of like the unseen heroes, unsung heroes. Everybody can be that. You don't need to be an Olympic gold medalist to do that.
Before I let you go, I'm going to ask The Rock, the engagement. Congratulations to you both.
We just moved back to Australia a week ago, so I think we're going to settle down first.
You're secured out entertainment, Sneaky Sound is behind
Sign them in.
I saw Polly walk in, I was so starstruck. Polly from Sneaky Sound to the house. Yeah, definitely report it to him. You guys, you're talking about champions, it's exactly what you both are. Thank you so much for what you're doing.
Thank you.
And for talking about you today.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you, Grace. I've never spoken publicly with glasses before, so this is quite sad. But Dave, the collection the champion put together, incredible. I'm not surprised it looks good when Michael and Michelle are involved. It feels great, so congratulations and thank you. I had the opportunity to speak at Michael's 21st. Only a few years ago, and despite the time since and all the water under the breaker, the feelings are still the same. I'm still very, very nervous. I look around this room, and like I said, I'm not surprised the turnout that we've had. I first met Michael back in 1992. He used to go by the name of Lucky, and for all that Michael has achieved, the proudest I've ever been of him is now. For many of us, watching Michael go on his journey has been extremely difficult, together with Michelle, and we've seen it and we've heard it. It's so great to see Evan Boytekki's parents here. I see Stella, I'm not sure if Rocco and Frankie here, but it's amazing the network and support that Michael has had. I remember a particular moment back in 2019. I got off the plane and Michael and I were on the same flight. I noticed that he was a little bit steady on his feet. His sister Anna had sort of said to me, listen, his health isn't great. There wasn't a lot known at that particular point in time. And from that walk from the plane to the baggage carousel, I didn't ask any questions, I didn't cry, nor did Michael share, and we kind of left it at that. For a man who broke 21 world records, this disease seemed cruel beyond measure. The very thing that had defined him, the body that had conquered the world, was now the very thing fighting against him. Michael and I had gone on our own journeys and drifted apart for a few years. But from that moment at the airport 7 years ago, I've never wanted Michael to feel alone. I'm glad you cried first. For those who know me well, there's no surprise that I'm crying, so it's all good. Over the years since, whether it was dropping copies off at hotel quarantine during the pandemic, WhatsApp messages at all hours, or the four of us. Michael, Michelle, my husband Chris, and I'd hold on the couch, typically watching Clarkson's Farm, cooking each other homemade dinners, laughing about the most random, funniest things, or engaging in deeply serious topics, or simply watching videos of their cute little dog Yuki, and a shout out to Yuki. I guess you could say for Michael I've longed for this moment, a moment where Michael could be free, where he didn't have to manage everyone else's emotions. Clearly I'm not doing that, where he could just be. Because the reality of watching someone you love navigate CIDP is not easy to put into words. For all the resilience and inspiration Michael has shown For me personally, there have been moments of genuine sadness, disbelief, anger, and shock. I'm sure many of you have felt the same. How can someone as fit and disciplined as Michael be in this position? Even Michael. How can a man who carried the weight of a nation on his shoulders when he stepped up on a block, a man who conquered the world, why is he needing to walk with a walking stick before the age of 50? How is it that he's not really able to walk without braces from his ankle to his knees? How can he be gripping a handrail so tightly just to stay upright at times when he once gripped the start block and launched himself faster than most human beings alive? What I've come to understand, watching this journey from as close as I've been lucky enough to stand, is that it's not just physical toll, and Michael's already talked about the mental battle, the grief over identity that was so wrapped in physical strength and athletic ability. This has probably been the hardest thing to watch, yet in true Michael Clint fashion, he hasn't let the disease define the end of this story. Chris and I always knew when Michael and Michelle were coming because we'd have a dozen Amazon deliveries on our doorstep. And selfishly, we love that because we always treasure the time that we spend together. Michael's already talked about the infusion treatments. They've become a cornerstone of his life. Every 6 weeks, 2 days of infusions, 32 blood donations worth of product to keep him functioning, to keep him moving, to keep him here with us. When he'd leave our home and head to RPA, I didn't understand. I didn't know at all what was going on. I just hoped all would be okay. And typically when he would get home, he would do his utmost to be that fun jokester that he is. They'd talk about the foundation, upcoming swim events, or just events in general. And you could just see how exhausted he was. He needed to rest. He needed to regulate his body temperature. Chris and I would often walk past the bedroom and it was freezing. It was like 16 degrees, even in the middle of winter. Michelle needing to go to bed with 2 tracksuits on. Michael just trying to be comfortable. When you hear that, you understand why he's such a passionate advocate for blood donations. Because blood donors, strangers, everyday Australians are quite literally keeping Michael on his feet. And on his feet he stayed, not just literally, but figuratively. Through the Clint Foundation, he and Michelle and that incredible board are building something real. A place of support for patients, for carers, for health professionals navigating this condition. And a huge shout out to all of those here today who fit in that category. I think what you do and what you're living with is truly incredible, so it's a huge credit to you. Michael has walked the halls of Parliament advocating for more research, for more resources and more recognition. He's partnered with Lifeblood. He has stood in front of the camera and shared the uncomfortable truths about his journey. Not for Michael to be celebrated, but to make sure the next person who collapses and doesn't know why finds answers a lot quicker than he did. And he's reached out to every single one of you here today. Whether you've known Michael for years or your relationship and friendship is new, it means a lot. We are all here today for a reason, to be advocates and to spread the word. I see that as an absolute honour, and I hope you do too. Now the hard part, to Michelle, thank you. What you have given to this man, to this cause, and to all who love him is immeasurable. You stepped into one of the hardest chapters of life, and you didn't blink. That matters more than words can say. Your approach, your empathy, your understanding, and the expertise you bring to this as well. It's truly remarkable. We're grateful for you and grateful to you. Michael, I'm not going to look at you. I want you to know watching you has not just been difficult. It's been one of the most extraordinary things I've ever seen. You've shown me and you're showing all of us that real strength, and Michelle already touched on this, isn't found in a world record or a gold medal. It's found in the willingness to keep turning up, even when your body is arguing with you every step you take. It is found in the honesty when you say, this is hard, I am struggling, but hey, this is what it looks like. Michael, for all you achieved in the pool, yes, it was inspiring, motivating, really pissed me off some days. Mind-boggling. And I was continually in awe. But the man here today, the man who's built a foundation alongside Michelle, out of your own pain, you've let your vulnerability become someone else's lifeline. That version of Michael Bloom is the one I'm most in awe of. Michael, my teammate, my friend, the pool was never really the arena that defined me. Today, right here, this is. Congratulations. We're all with you and we're proud of you.